Good afternoon, Ghana. It's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
30 years of joyfulness. Hashtag Stop Galamsey now still on. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM all in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. We are live on myjoyonline.com. We are also live in all 16 regions of Ghana. We are on A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, ATL FM in Cape Coast, KTU Radio in Koforidua. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, President John Mahama set to engage the Asantehene Otumfuo to the second as part of his ongoing mediation efforts to secure lasting peace and bring an end to the decade-old conflict in Bawku.
Nanado gave me a hint that Otumfuo has been playing some role, and so I'm supposed to be with Otumfuo. So when I go, it's one of the issues I'll discuss with him.
We have details on his peace-building mission as he engages the overlords of Bawku and the Mamprugu Kingdom on the situation. Also this afternoon, President Mahama has made key security appointments. Former Chief of Staff Prosper Bani as National Security Advisor at the presidency, plus more. I have details of those appointments for you shortly. Plus, we put the spotlight on ministerial nominees for Greater Accra, Ashanti and Upper East. Can they tackle the region's unique challenges? You want to stay? Plus, the notice of withdrawal of diplomatic and service passports issued by the previous government. In Parliament, the minority is cutting through chairman of the Appointments Committee, accusing him of not only being partisan, but being an obstacle to the real interrogation of John Mahama's ministerial nominees.
First real obstacle to a diligent vetting of the ministerial nominees. He denied the Ghanaian people and the minority members of the committee the opportunity to conduct a thorough vetting of the nominees. He was protective of the nominees and extremely partisan.
They have an assessment of the performance of the minister-designate so far. They say the finance minister-designate was ill-prepared and evasive when he appeared before the committee.
Having served as a Deputy Minister of Finance and a ranking member of the Finance Committee, one would have expected his answers to be forthright and to exude concrete solutions.
And their sports.
After just 2 wins from 16 Premier League matches, Accra Lions have confirmed the exits of Ibrahim Tanko as head coach.
And much later, why is President Mahama's official vehicle, the Land Cruiser LC300 Extreme Edition, in the social media trends? We'll tell you much later on MNJ. That and more here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. We're digging now in this afternoon. President John Mahama is set to visit the Asantehene Otumfuo to the second this weekend as part of his ongoing mediation efforts to secure lasting peace in Bawku. During a visit to the king and overlord of the Mamprugu Kingdom, Nabuhaga Mahami Abdullahi Shiriga II, President Mahama stated his government's commitment to prioritizing peace. He urged the feuding factions to lay down their arms and promised to take every necessary measure to restore harmony. On Tuesday, President Mahama embarked on a peace-building mission to Bawku and Nalarugu, where he engaged conflict factions and key stakeholders to promote a dialogue aimed at resolving the decade-old conflict.
I just came to appeal to him to exercise restraint and patience, and his subjects to exercise restraint and patience and trust that we'll resolve this matter amicably. So I'm just appealing to my father that they should exercise patience while I set up the government. And so as soon as that is done, we might have to invite my father, but I cannot sit in Accra and invite him. I have to come and alert him in advance that an invitation like that will come. In my last briefing with Nana Akufo-Addo before he left office, he briefed me about some mediation efforts that they were undertaking. I wish to be able to discuss it with him and see how we can continue that effort. I know that he and the late Yegbonra and Otumfuo were the ones who solved the Dagon problem. Nanado gave me a hint that Otumfuo has been playing some role. And so I'm supposed to be with Otumfuo on the 19th of this month. So when I go, it's one of the issues I'll discuss with him. And whatever comes out of it, I will inform my father.
Well, President John Mahama disclosed plans to make key security appointments this week, including the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Interior, and other critical positions. He stated that one of their primary responsibilities will be to prioritize peace-building efforts in Bawku and work towards resolving the long-standing conflicts in the area.
I want to assure you that we're putting in place the various appointments so that we can have ministers and other officials who are responsible for the security to take charge. And so within this week, we will do the appointments of the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Interior, the National Security Advisor, the National Security Coordinator, the BNI Director, and all the others. And when these appointments are made, I'm going to charge them to make Bawku one of the number one priorities that they attend and deal with. And so I'll appeal to you to exercise patience, exercise restraint, and to let you know that I am apprised of the issue. I'm going to deal with it, and I can assure you, have trust in myself and this administration that by the grace of God, peace is going to come back. Permanent peace is going to come back to Bawku. We cannot live in a country where our people don't feel safe. Our people must feel safe to travel wherever they want at whatever time and not have people shooting at them. And so you can be sure that we'll deal with all these situations so that we all can have the peace that we need in order that our traditional areas can progress.
Well, hours after that promise was made, a number of security appointments have been made. I'll get to that shortly. But last night on PM Express, achieving a lasting peace in Bawku was the focus of our conversation. And former Interior Minister Dominic Nitiwo urged the government to ensure the two factions have trust in the neutrality of their intentions of finding a lasting solution. He spoke to Blessed Soga.
First thing every government will have to ensure is that the two parties would have to give trust to you when that you are an impartial arbiter and that you have no direct interest. If they suspect anything, you are going to face problems. And I think that issue came over and over and over again. The Honorable MP has been very helpful, especially during my time in trying to give me information, give me leads, and my colleagues to see how we can resolve the Bawku matter, because nobody wants this issue. Even one life lost in Bawku or any part of Ghana, it's not good. So the situation in Bawku is that when it comes to the security services, yes, we have enough security services personnel there, we have equipment there, we have the logistics there, we've been spending on there, as you mentioned, the figures that are there, but we need to do more.
Okay.
Do more by ensuring that we bring the people together and give them the confidence that government has no other interest than bring them together and make sure there's peace. If we are not able to do that, and one faction ties that, look, I don't trust that this government, we're going to face the problems that we faced in the past. And I don't think that this government should position itself in such a way that a faction would mistrust their actions.
Okay.
However genuine those actions.
Well, that's former Defense Minister, I beg your pardon, I said Interior Minister earlier. That's Dominic Nitiwo on PM Express. That full interview is available on all our social media platforms. You can't miss it. That's also on PM Express last night. We've also been hearing from former Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister Sivina Samoa-Boateng on advice to the President on key appointments that should be made that should not satisfy the two factions.
At some point, I was moving so smoothly, getting all parties involved in talking. Indeed, I went to my own old man, father, Abugago Azigri Azoka, the second of Bawku, the Bawku Naba. I also went to the Nairi and also went to the palace, and I got the two talking to me. It was difficult before I came into the ministry for them to share their innermost thoughts. But they were talking, and that gave me the opportunity to present a paper to Cabinet, and for Cabinet to find a solution that takes the politics out of it. Because that's how I found out that politically they were undertones. And so me being a politician as well, but we must take ourselves and give it back to the chiefs. And so we then handed over the responsibility of finding the peace led by Otumfuo, the Asantehene, Otumfuo to the second.
What do you think this government should not be doing in trying to deal with the Bawku issue?
First of all, don't appoint a native of the Bawku or the Kusak to be the regional minister. That's number one. Don't do it. It's emotional subject, and the native always, if you are not careful, have some emotions with it. I almost succeeded. Unfortunately, somehow Abagri found himself in Bawku, and that erupted before we left office. Very sad. Very, very sad.
That's Stephen Asamoah Boateng, former chieftaincy and religious affairs minister. Well, let's focus on the key appointments that have been made so far by President John Mahama, especially in the area of security. Joy News editor Fred Smith joins me in studio. Fred, walk us through it.
Well, we talk about the former chief of staff, Prosper Douglas Bani. He's been appointed national security advisor to the president. Mr. Bani, we all know him, a former minister of the interior. You remember in 2016 when Mark Uyungu was reshuffled, he became the interior minister, and so he brings a wealth of experience and expertise to that area. DCOP Abdul Osman Razak, not many know him. He will serve as the national security coordinator, ensuring a cohesive strategy across all security initiatives. COP Nathan Kofi Boakye retired. He's also been appointed as Director of Operations at the Presidency, and he will oversee operational effectiveness in security matters. Charles Kipo, he will become the Director General of the National Intelligence Bureau, and the appointments, the President says, reflects his commitment to enhancing national security and ensuring the safety of citizens.
Thank you very much, Fred Smith, and I'm sure you'll be back soon with a lot more appointments that will be made in the coming days. And also, government has recalled diplomatic and service passport issued by previous administration for verification to ensure proper use, prevent misuse, and maintain the integrity of Ghana's passport system. And that's a communication to the Chief Director from the Secretary of the President on this, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Well, we focus a lot more on the appointments that have been made so far this time on the regional appointments, but our focus will be on the Greater Accra, Ashanti, and the Upper East regions. Greater Accra and Ashanti stand as the country's most populous regions as we speak, while the Upper East takes center stage due to the ongoing Bawku conflict. The administration is prioritizing efforts to secure lasting peace in the area, reflecting its commitment to national stability and development. Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson takes a look at the profiles of nominees in these three regions.
Obenewa Akwele Oklu is nominated to the Greater Accra region. She entered Parliament on the ticket of the NDC following the tragic death of her husband, William Oklu, in 2017 and retained her seat in the 2020 and 2024 general elections, solidifying her position as a key figure in the constituency. She holds diplomas in banking and insurance, along with a degree in business administration. She is a professional economist, banker, and insurer. Speaking to Emefa Apawu on the Pulse, she acknowledged that she will be rewarded with a ministerial position.
I mean, apart from my Gizo that was given a ministerial appointment, we haven't had any minister. So I'm looking forward to the President-elect, President John Mahama, that he will consider Shayo Sudoku, and I'll be one of the first ministers if I'm being appointed.
But the work that lies ahead of her is great. The region is bedeviled with issues of filth and pressures on social amenities due to the population spurt that she'll have to tackle while filling the shoes of the likes of Ni Ama Ashite, Sheikh Isaac Kwe, Ishmael Ashite, Henry Korte, and Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover, who've contributed to the development of the region. The Upper East region is the 8th biggest region in the country with a population of about 1.3 million. What is making this region very dear to this administration is the Bawku conflict. The president is bent on bringing lasting peace. To help him navigate the issues is ministerial nominee Donatus Akamugri, who served as Upper East Regional Secretary of the NDC since 1998. He holds a Master's in Human Rights and a Bachelor of Education degree in Social Studies and Mathematics from the University of Education, Winneba. He hails from Bongo and will be seen as a neutral party in mediating the Bawku chieftaincy conflict. Meanwhile, some residents have been reacting to his nomination.
Concerning about the conflict issues, I think he's somebody who is matured and a grown person. Perhaps he has so much insight about the conflict.
Yeah. For me, as a son of the Upper East region, someone from Bongo to be precise, I know and hope that concerning our Bawku conflict, I know that he's someone that can work together with all the tribes.
Well, in the Ashanti region, residents expect the minister-designate to prioritize the completion of ongoing projects and drive development in the region. But even before he goes for vetting, Dr. Frank Amwakohene has indicated the government's quest to prosecute former regional minister Simon Osei-Mensah. Here's a report by Nanabuachi Dankwa-Yadom.
Taking over from the likes of the Honorable Simon Osei-Mensah and the Honorable Samuel Sapon, alongside Madam Elizabeth Ajeman, President John Mahama has nominated the young Dr. Frank Amwakohene as the Ashanti Regional Minister designate. Dr. Frank Amwakohene, who is the current Secretary of the NDC in the Ashanti region, is expected to steer the affairs on behalf of government in the region. Today we took to the streets of the Ashanti region to engage people on how Dr. Frank Amwakohene can drive development. Eugene Osei-Tutu is a public interest advocate. He shares how Dr. Frank Amwakohene, with his young age, can drive development into the Ashanti region.
I think that he has the necessary experience, being a parliamentary candidate for Mampong constituency, being the regional secretary of the party in the region. And as such, with a presidential villa, what happens here is that it's the state security that provides security for us, i.e. Ghana police and then the military. So to my surprise, how could they remove frames, air conditions, furniture and all this from the residents without the Ghana police taking notice of such movement and such looting right here in the residence? So it calls to question the loyalty of even civil servants to the Republic of Ghana. So it goes beyond what the politician does. There is an estate manager, an estate engineer. There is someone who keeps the keys to these buildings.
That's Ashanti Regional Minister Designate Frank Amwakohene there, ending my colleague Nanabuachi Dankwa-Yadom's report. Now let's take you to Parliament now, and the minority are taking on Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, who they accuse of gross partisanship. It will be recalled that on Monday, the minority and its leader clashed several times with the chairman and the NDC majority on the committee over the modalities for the vetting. Addressing journalists in Parliament a while ago, MP for Tano North Gideon Bawku, who spoke on behalf of the minority, claimed that the chairman of the committee was an obstacle to the committee doing a good work.
Obstacle to a diligent vetting of the ministerial nominees. He denied the Ghanaian people and the minority members of the committee the opportunity to conduct a thorough vetting of the nominees. He was protective of the nominees and extremely partisan. Members of the committee were shouted at by the chairman. You all witnessed how the member for Etiwa East, the Honorable Abuna Osei Asaru, was shouted at in an attempt to protect the nominees. The chairman denied legitimate members of the committee the opportunity to ask relevant questions and railroaded the nominees through the process.
Well, Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante has returned from that press conference, joins me in studio. Kweku, the group then zoomed in on Dr. Kasiel Atuforsi and his performance. They say he was ill-prepared and lacked clarity of thought.
Yes, according to Dr. Gideon Bawku, who was again still speaking on behalf of his group, the finance minister designate was unable to answer some of the key questions they asked, particularly regarding his promise to cut some taxes and how they intend to get that revenue back.
Having served as a Deputy Minister of Finance and a ranking member of the Finance Committee, one would have expected his answers to be forthright and to exude concrete solutions. For instance, on the specific matter of whether the government would cater for the first-year tuition fees or academic facility user fees of tertiary students as promised, we found the minister-designate's response highly disappointing. How can a finance minister designate look into the faces of parents and young Ghanaian students and say that because he's not yet the minister, he cannot answer whether the pledge by President Mahama to pay for their fees will be honored. This is a clear way that the NDC party just deceived them for their votes. When asked about the free senior high school program and whether it will be extended to private schools as indicated in the NDC manifesto, the minister designate in a very dismissive manner asked whether those private schools' right was seized.
Well, Kweku, they also zoomed in on the energy minister designate, John Jinapo. They accuse him of flip-flopping on the key issues.
Yes, you will recall that he answered questions about privatization. ECG. The NPP claim that in opposition he was opposed to ECG privatization, and now in government he's seeking to go along that same tangent.
His case is no different. Firstly, one question about his previous criticism of the gold for oil policy, which he labeled a scam. The nominee remained steadfast in his stance, showing no remorse. He stated that he would review the policy, but we ask, how does one review a scam?
Well, so it looks like that was a key assessment of the minister designate. How about the Attorney General and Minister of Justice?
Well, they say he is embroiled in conflict of interest because some of his clients are now having filed arbitration process against the state, and so they would have wished that he would have rejected that nomination. They also say that no NPP person who will be invited by the oral committee should attend because they believe that oral is an unconstitutional body. There will be more later in the subsequent bulletins.
Thank you very much. That's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Quick Asantehene there, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News Live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, Hits 103.9 FM also in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We are live by Kanketse of all the affiliates in all 16 regions. Live on X Spaces, you're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Our top story so far: President John Mahama to engage Asantehene Otumfuo say to the second as part of his ongoing mediation efforts to secure lasting peace and end the decade-old conflict in Bawku. We return from the break. We have sport, and then farmers in Atrima in Wabieja South District of Ashanti region reaping the rewards of eco-farming practices as maize yields increase by nearly 40%. We'll tell you more in our climate focus series for today, and also why the Land Cruiser LC300 Extreme Edition is making waves on social media. Is it President Mahama's official vehicle? What exactly is the talk about it? We have that on MNJ much later. Do stay with us after the short break.
Where did I? Now I don't know many just sir. Obiang, what you call her? Ain't you want to say petrol for your energizing dreams for motion? Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. It's time for sports. Achu Tamaklo is here. What's up?
Well, we're here to bring you bad news because a certain friend of ours has lost his job. Ibrahim Tanko, the head coach and technical director at Accra Lions. He's been moved on from the club after 3 years of service. Well, he's paid the price for the team's poor performances in the Ghana Premier League. They are second from bottom, having won just 2 games out of 16. And the club have said that former coach Rena Kraft, the German trainer, will return in an interim capacity to see out the rest of the season. That's your sports.
Your bad news sounded like good news at some point. Well, that's your sports there. Now it's time for our climate focus, and maize yields have increased for farmers in the Achiman-Wabie South district of the Ashanti region by 38% compared to the national average. They're promoting agroecological practices for improved maize production and a healthy environment. Papishe project has directly benefited 550 farmers and impacted over 2,000 others indirectly. About 87% of farmers exposed the agroecological technologies have expressed interest in adopting and scaling up these practices on their farms. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin for Climate Focus.
Well, all that we have been doing is bringing the practitioners here, showing them the processes and the value. But then we realize that if we don't take care, we'll continue to be confronted with the challenge of still changing the mindset of the elderly, changing the mindset of the elderly producers. So we have also targeted the young ones right from the basic schools through to the agricultural colleges to give them an exposition.
The preference study shows that about 87% of the people who have been exposed to our technologies, our agroecological technologies, have expressed the desire to adopt and to scale it at their farm level. And that percentage is very high. So we are very, very hopeful that with additional support in terms of funding, we will be able to scale out these agroecological practices to other areas.
PAPISHI, or the Promoting Agroecological Practices for Improved Maize Production and a Healthy Environment project, is an initiative aimed at changing farming in the Achiman-Wabie South district. Established at CD, the project focuses on agroecological practices that enhance sustainability, increase yields, and benefit the environment. Dr. Kofi Boa is the director for the Center for No-Till Agriculture.
Frequent plowing, hoeing, turning the whole area down is not good, because we need to actually help stabilize the structure of the soils. Structural stability is very, very important in soil health building, and that is why we emphasize no-tillage farming. Then we make sure that the soils are covered, pretty much covered all year round. And so whenever we prepare the land, coming from the natural vegetation, we leave everything on the ground to form a carpet of mulch on the soil surface.
That's our climate focus. Now, the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company Limited has made it official that they've postponed their scheduled offshore maintenance operation known as pigging, bringing temporary relief to Ghanaians. Mamiesi joins me in studio with details of the statement. Let's walk through it, Mamiesi.
So, Emefa, maintenance is in 4 weeks, and the exercise will commence on Monday, February 3 and end on Monday, March 3. Also, the exercise involves a temporary suspension of reverse flow gas, from the western region to Tema in the Greater Accra region. There will also be a shutdown of key facilities in Tema, Lome and Cotonou, and the statement also said during the shutdown period, WAPCO will replace subsea valves located at these strategic locations to enhance operational safety. Emefa.
Well, so the cleaning stage has 2 phases.
Indeed, the first phase was completed in December 2024, which was involved in cleaning and inspecting the onshore section of the pipeline within Nigeria. What WAPCO will do now is the second phase, and it will focus on the offshore section of the WAGP stretching from Bagdri, Lagos State, Nigeria to Takra, the western region.
Thank you very much. There's more of that on myjournline.com. It's time for M&J. The other half of the M&J is there. Your other half is a presidential affairs.
I know, right?
What are you becoming now?
Okay. I'm the best friend of the presidential
president. Okay,
I know, right?
Okay. Well, what are people talking about? Our version of the beast is trending on social media, right? Let's talk about it.
Well, President John Mahama's car is trending. I'm surprised,
Charlie,
but we've seen him.
Not a cow. It's his LC 300 Extreme Edition Land Cruiser, Madam.
You've given the specs.
No car.
yes, small car, 3.3 liters V6 turbo diesel engine. I mean, so people are talking about the car. People have been asking questions. Let me read some of the comments. So Yaira says that for the records, this is John Dramani's car. That's his private car. It does not belong to the state. Neither did he use the state money to purchase it. And Sabohin Collins says that why does it have the coat of arms then? So people are just asking questions about the car. I don't know why that
Once
is.
he's president-elect.
Yes.
Of president, in fact. He's no longer
Yes.
The conversation started when he was president-elect, but now he's president. At least he needs to carry the coat of arm. At least or the bicycle carries the coat of arm.
Yeah. So people are sharing their thoughts on the car on social media. Away from that, Bawku is trending, but then Shatawale on God is also trending. It debuted on the Billboard chart. The song
we are there.
35, number 35.
Yes.
But according to it looks like he's been there before, but this is the first time his song on God. You know, he performed it in Jamaica alongside Vibes Cartel, and it's trending after 2 years.
Kneeling down. Okay, let's go. And that's on God. Shatawale. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top stories: President John Mahama to engage Asantehene Otunfo say to the second as part of his ongoing mediation efforts to secure lasting peace. We've been live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM. We bring you entertainment on Hit. We're on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. The Midday News supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy. Living Word with Pastor Mensel to Bill. God has not given us the spirit of fear. Episode 5. Have a good afternoon. I am Emefa Apawu.